The environment includes all biotic and abiotic factors that affect the life of an organism or a plant or human beings. All life on earth needs food and energy for survival, growth and reproduction. Energy is a basic requirement for growth based on which the biomass is produced. The growth of vegetation needs fertile soil, essential nutrients, water and sunlight. Human life requires air, food, water and other materials for shelter, transport and varieties of socio-economic and life support activities. Most of the required resources are available in raw or convertible forms on Earth. These are the natural resources of the planet Earth. In this episode, the following modules are discussed: definition and types of resources, Earth's atmospheric natural resources, Earth's lithospheric natural resources, Earth's hydrospheric natural resources, and Earth's biospheric natural resources. A resource is anything that an organism uses and consumes from the environment. Some resources are directly available for use, while other resources must be extracted at some cost to the organism. Normally, the extraction of a resource by an organism has an effect on the environment. The type of effect and its magnitude is determined by a number of factors. In human societies, cultural beliefs can determine what is classified as a resource. For example, humans in Western societies value music highly and as a result accumulate this resource on records, tapes and CD-ROM discs. However, the accumulation of this resource is not vital to the survival of the human species. Current human societies on the earth use many non-essential resources in their daily lives. Resources are classified into many types. Throughout human time scale, resources like solar energy, wind energy and tidal energy are expected to be available. These are virtually inexhaustible resources for human consumption. Such types are called as perpetual resources. We can say that these are everlasting resources. Whereas coal, oil and mineral deposits are non-renewable or exhaustible resources. Once used, such materials will not come back again. A renewable resource is one that are available over a period of time and space. These can be used and produced by human involvement. Even if they are depleted in the short run, they can be replaced through natural processes. Forest wealth, marine food, energy for water, wind, biogas, timber, herbs and cattle are all considered under this category. The highest rate at which a renewable resource can be used without decreasing its potential for renewal is called its sustained yield. Exceeding the sustained yield can cause a resource to become non-renewable or non-existent. This will induce a resource crunch and depletion. This is called as environmental degradation. Typical examples are oil crisis due to shortage of oil resources, fuel for domestic use due to shortage of coal and natural gas, overgrazing of land and its impact on cattle population, the reduction in the nutrient level of soils due to intense agricultural production, over-exploitation of groundwater and declining water tables in aquifers. The population size of most organisms is usually controlled by the availability of few key resources that limits its ability to survive and reproduce. When resources are abundant, the population of the species grow without damage. When population grows, the demand supersedes the supply. If the resources are overconsumed, the population of the species will experience a decline census and resource crunch. Earth's natural resources are of several kinds like land resources, soil resources, water resources, forest resources, marine resources, mineral resources, animal and human resources. These are in addition to the solar radiation and atmospheric wind. Air present in the atmosphere is a mixture of gases, smokes and dust. Atmosphere contains 5,000 million tons of gases. Nitrogen amounts to 78%, oxygen to 21%, carbon dioxide to 0.33% and argon to 0.93%. Almost all of these gases are needed in one way or the other for a life to survive and to maintain the balance of these in the atmosphere. The water vapor present in the atmosphere is a major contributor for condensation and cloud formation. It ultimately leads to precipitation. Of the 11 gases present in the atmosphere, nitrogen, oxygen, water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide and ozone are extremely important to the health of the Earth's biosphere. Nitrogen and oxygen have very important associations with life. The addition of nitrogen to the Earth's surface soils and various water bodies supplies much needed nutrition for plant growth. Sun's solar radiation is a major source of energy for all life support activities. Air has to be in circulation for maintaining an equilibrium. The distribution of heat in the atmosphere is responsible for the difference in pressure and also for the movement of the air. Wind is a major agent for a set of natural process. It has the potential to help in producing wind energy also. Trade winds are responsible for the monsoons and the convection currents. Weather and climatic depends on the flow of winds. Temperature of the atmosphere is a major asset to the natural processes. Some gases present in the atmosphere can change the heating rates. The amount of moisture present in the air is known as humidity. These are moisture that is in the air, the higher is the humidity. The humidity of the air depends on temperature and location. Humidity controls the weather condition. Monsoons are generated by the difference in the heating and cooling of air over land and sea. The global hydrologic resources are dependent on the atmospheric clouds. Condensing clouds provide the much needed rain and snow. Rainfall is the ultimate source of all life on Earth. Global climate and atmospheric conditions form the basis for monsoon. Fresh air is a blessed gift of nature for every life. When the air inside the house is warm and polluted with smokes and dust, people come out of the house for breathing fresh air. Human beings can never survive without the air. Hence, air is considered to be the primary natural resources of life on Earth. Air will take on the shape of whatever thing it gets a chance to go into. Air has weight. Air goes in and out of our lungs every day. The unique properties of air are used for many industrial applications. The movement of air as wind blow is also used to dry objects and cleaning floors. Land resources include all the terrestrial ecosystems including mountains, forests, grasslands, rangelands, mangroves, floodplains, meadows and deltas. Earth's lithosphere is a storehouse of various rocks and innumerable minerals, resources, groundwater and fossil fuels. The heat of the Earth's interior is a good source for geothermal energy. Soil is the primary natural resource of ecosystems helpful to grow all vegetation. Soil is the home for all microbes. Soil fertility encourages agricultural productivity. Soils, their physical and chemical properties are more helpful in many human activities. Soils are used for making bricks, potteries, and in earthen structures. Productivity from agriculture depends on soil resources. Man has first started to use minerals and rocks for his needs far back in ancient times. Stones has played a large role in the primitive society. The Stone Age man used stones and clays to prepare things which were necessary for his defense, hunting and household articles as well as ornaments. People used soil, mud and rocks for construction. Valuable metallic ores, non-metallic substances and gemstones were identified for various works. Aristotle was the first naturalist to classify the stones. Mining for copper, lead and silver began in the 6th and 7th centuries. Large mining enterprises were started during the 15th century. Utilization of mineral resources greatly increased during the 18th century. Due to the progress in industrial growth, more and more natural resources are being used in one way or the other. Minerals are naturally occurring in organic substances having a set of definite physical properties and chemical composition. Many minerals are of very high practical and economic value. They are classified into metallic minerals, which include both ferrous and non-ferrous minerals. Non-metallic minerals support on various activities. Atomic minerals are helpful in generating atomic energy and also in nuclear studies. Extraction of various metals are done from the ore minerals of metallic category. Much of the minerals are used in many of the industries today. They are all classified as industrial minerals. Minerals form the raw materials in many industries. They are the backbones of modern industrial society and life. The list of minerals used in different industries are mineral fuels like coal, petroleum and natural gas. Refractories using fire clay, kaolin and magnesite. Abrasive using diamond, corundum, emery and garnet. Paints from ochres and orpiments and plasters from gypsum. Cements from limestones and dolomites, glass from quartz and feldspar, ceramics from kaolin and feldspar, insulators from asbestos, mica and fire clay. Papers and pulp industries using kaolin, barite and gypsum. Optical and scientific instruments using calcite, fluorite, gypsum, agate, quartz, mica and tourmaline. Radioactive minerals use pitchblende and monazite, etc. Slates, talc, asbestos, salt, mica and many minerals are used directly or indirectly in industries. In addition to this, lithosphere contains a good number of building and ornamental stones. Rock type, color, grain size, texture, hardness, durability, porosity, density, strength, sonic velocity and permeability are the characteristics determining the suitability of a stone or a rock for construction purposes. Granite family of rocks are available in plenty in the region of India. Chernockite, which is the black variety of granite, and dolerite exported to other countries from India. Sandstones of older geological formations have been extensively used as a building material in several regions. Limestone, marble, slates and laterite are the normal building stones. Lithosphere contains a good number of gemstones. These are commercial, valuable, unique natural resources of the globe. Most of the jewelry works based on the available native elements like gold, silver and copper. Gemstones like diamond, garnet, topaz, ruby, sapphire, corundum, beryl, olivine, amethyst, jasper, tourmaline, agate and emerald are the notable gem resources of the globe. India is fortunate to have some basic mineral resources for its industries. India is considered to be more or less self-contained in mineral resources. The country is rich with iron and manganese ores along with bauxite, mica and fossil fuels. Hydrosphere is the sphere of water. It encompasses the global water resources and its distribution over the land, atmosphere and oceans. The water resources of the globe include the major oceans and seas, glacier and ice on mountains and polar regions. Rivers and streams with their running water, lakes, ponds and reservoirs, groundwater and soil moistures and the water vapor. The major part of the global water is saline and is present in the oceans. Fresh water is very limited and is found in rivers and in lakes. The surface water resources are mainly used for drinking and sanitation, agriculture and irrigation, domestic consumption, industrial processes, power generation and water transport. Water plays many complex roles in human activities and natural systems. Fresh water is one of the most essential of the elements that support human life and economic growth and development. It is irreplaceable for the purposes of drinking, hygiene, food production, fisheries, industry, hydropower generation, navigation, recreation and many other activities. Water is equally critical for the healthy functioning of nature upon which human society is built. The reality is that 97.5% of all water on earth is salt water, leaving only 2.5% as fresh water. Nearly 70% of that fresh water is frozen in the ice caps of Antarctica and Greenland, and most of the remainder is present as soil moisture or lies in deep underground aquifers as groundwater not accessible to human use. Much of the approximately 110,000 cubic kilometers of precipitation that falls on the continents each year evaporates back into the atmosphere or is absorbed by plants. About 42,700 cubic kilometers of the water that falls on earth flows through the world's river. Freshwater resources are very unevenly distributed. At one extreme are the deserts where almost no rain falls, and at the other are the most humid regions which can receive several meters of rainfall a year. The oceans and seas are the storehouse of many naturally depositing substances and marine life. The ocean is the Earth's water reservoir. Oceans are the heat regulators, absorbing more heat from the atmosphere than land. Oceans play an important role in determining the climate of an area. Every natural element can be found in the waters of the ocean, but the ocean is especially known for its salts. Seawater contains about 35,000 milligrams per liter of salts. 6 elements account for 99% of the ocean's salinity. They are, in order of amount, chlorine, sodium, sulfur, magnesium, calcium and potassium. Most of the salty material in the sea consists of the compound sodium chloride and ordinary table salt. Oceans have enormous amount of other resources. They include food, energy, minerals and medicines. Under the freshwater resources, rivers, reservoirs and lakes are of primary importance. The presence of large lakes in a region greatly influences the lives of the people living nearby. Groundwater is another natural resource mainly derived from the rainfall that percolates into the subsoil. It forms the largest source of fresh water available over the globe. Groundwater is not uniformly distributed throughout the Earth's outer layer. Groundwater is the source of water for wells and many springs. Borewells are drilled down to aquifers to draw groundwater to the surface. The unique feature of groundwater is that it is available everywhere. Though it is less than 1% over globe, it caters to the needs of 60% of world's population. Hydrosphere is the major sphere supporting life through its natural resources. The biosphere is made up of all that is living on Earth, from the smallest bacterium to the largest whale. It includes between 3 to 30 million species of plants, animals, and fungi, bacteria, and protozoans. The biosphere extends over the Earth's surface in a thin layer from a few kilometers into the atmosphere in very cold environments to the deep sea vents of the ocean depths in very hot environments. The biosphere is a life-supporting global ecosystem where each living being depends on each other and the environment. The ecosystem includes all living organisms and the abiotic or non-living environment on which they depend for their energy and the nutrient they need to live. The natural resources of the biosphere include the forest, the animal wealth, and human resources. In addition to these, the raw materials and producers of the activities like agriculture, mariculture, silviculture, and aquaculture generate a huge amount of food and other resources which govern the life and economy of the country. Forests and forest products are plenty of natural resources for our use. Forests are the gifts of nature for human and animal life. They are the native homes and parks for wildlife and sanctuaries for birds. The primary and secondary resources of forests have helped the population to sustain for several centuries. Forests have a variety of uses to humans, including wood from trees, nutrition from animals, for grazing, recreation, medicinal, and so on. Timber and non-timber forest products are essential materials for human use. Forests are air purifiers. The complex ecological relationships involving forests could allow humans to benefit from them in a variety of ways. Biomass, productivity of forests, and the biodiversity are the ultimate strengths of the biosphere. Herbal medicines, animal extracts, and food items are the benefits of these resources. All population thrives on the biospheric reserves and resources. Farmers, foresters, and fishermen are the major stakeholders of many biospheric reserves. Earth is a living planet containing a lot of terrestrial freshwater and marine species. The natural resources of the earth are not uniformly distributed. The availability and purpose of usage are also varied. Some are essential, strategic, and critical substances. Some are rare items and precious commodities. Many of these may be renewable and non-renewable resources. The non-renewable resources are to be properly conserved by the human beings. Conservation and management of natural resources in the environment needs adequate planning and analysis.